Hello, this is Joanne Hewins from LoveToCreate.typepad.com. Today we're going to make this card. I'm a lover of green, if there's anyone who knows me personally out there. And this is a card that I just love. Let me say that I was inspired to create this card by our Stampin' Up catalog. And near the beginning, you might have noticed they have all of the bundles listed toward the beginning of the catalog. And here is their listing for the Tasteful Textures bundle. And I just loved the background on here, and I loved this cutout and the saying. So that's what I went with when I guess you could say, cased this card from the catalog. So we will be using the Tasteful Textures stamp set, and the Tasteful Backgrounds dies. We'll be using this one. Also in the card today, besides using the Tasteful Textures stamp set, mainly just this stamp, we're also going to be using the Woven Heirlooms stamp set, and we'll be using the sayings that you see on this one, the thinking of you and the wishing you a day of love and joy. So, and then one other thing that I'd like to share is that we'll also be using the pressed Petals Specialty Designer Series paper. We'll use the music one here. Let me just say, if you haven't paid attention to this paper, you need to. It is gorgeous. One I thought I didn't need, but boy was I wrong. The paper is a little bit thinner than most of our other designer series papers, but it is still double-sided, and instead of 2 of a sheet, you get 4 of each sheet. So to me, that is just wonderful, especially since I do classes. Having 4 of each sheet sure helps me to have enough to go around without having to buy another pack of paper. Okay, back to the card. This card is a little bit different in that I cut a little bit off of the front of the card. So let's talk about the paper for this. So I used a piece of 5.5 by 8.5 for my base, and I scored it at 4 1/4 as usual, and that is what left me with this size of a card. So here's the base and the one that we're going to make. I have it scored, so I'm going to fold that back and then use my bone folder to burnish that fold. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do on this one is stamp the background. And this is Mossy Meadow paper. We're going to be using Mossy Meadow ink. And what we want to do is stamp this part right here. So I'm going to start over here on this edge. Let me get that stamped a little bit better. We have just been through a class where everybody used this. All right, and I'm just going to stamp here. And then I'm going to open this because I don't want to get my ink in this part. So I'll just open that, and we'll do stamping down through here. And I just rubbed my hand through that ink. You don't do things like that, I'm sure. Okay, so there we have our stamping here. And then on the inside piece, there's a little bit of stamping here. So I'm going to go ahead while I have this stamp, and I want it, okay. So I'm just going to stamp down in here. Okay, so there we have that. I'm going to rub my hand a little bit here and get some of that off. Okay, while we have the inside, Well, I am a disaster area. While we have that inside, I'm going to go ahead and stamp the rest of that. I have the Wishing You a Day of Love and Joy set up on my stamp apparatus. And we're going to hope I don't get this ink all over it. Okay, let me set my magnet. And then we'll just ink this up. And I have it on this side of the card because we're going to put our designer paper on the other side. Okay, I think that's good. I also can't move things with my fingernails. Okay, so that's the inside of the card except for the designer paper. So I'm going to put that on, and I hate to tell you this. I did have a little bit of music. I'm not sure which way this goes. I'm going to put it this way and hope that I'm correct. Okay, and then this is just going to go on the very edge of this paper. Okay, so that's the inside, and I actually cut this so that it would fill up the entire inside of the card. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this on. So I want it to be able to fold. And if it does end up that I have some on the back that is showing, and I think I do here on the front, I can go back with my trimmer. I don't have that right here to show you, but I would just put that in my trimmer and cut some of this extra off here. Or you can actually just use your scissors. Let me do that. So I would turn that on the back and then just trim away what is sticking out. That's probably easier than getting the trimmer. Okay, so there we go with the inside. That was quick. And we're ready to do the panel that's on the outside of the card. I'm going to go ahead and get this piece that has the Thinking of You and get that done so I can close this ink pad, and hopefully I will not attract any more ink. You know, some days are just like that, aren't they? Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to stand up. Okay, so there's our saying. And the ink is going to be closed and put away. All right, so for the panels here on the front of the card, I have a piece of Mossy Meadow, and it is cut at 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And then I have a piece of the Pear Pizzazz, which is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And out of this one, we're going to be using the Tasteful Backgrounds dies, and we'll be using this one. You're just going to take it and put it on here and put it as close to the middle as you can and run that through your die cutting machine. And I've already run one through, so there's that. And I went ahead and added some dimensionals onto the back of this. You want it, I wanted to use the mini dimensional so I could get it in here in these places that maybe I couldn't get with the larger one. So I'm just going to pull off my backings. This is a good little tip of getting these off. Sometimes they are a little bit hard to get off. I'm using my Take Your Pick tool to get some of those off quickly. and one more. Okay, so this is going to go on your green, your Mossy Meadow green, and you're going to try to get that so that it's right in the middle. Now, I don't have anything holding this up in the middle, and I think that it's okay. That way it does dip down a little, but it's about too small of a space to get something in there. And then let's go ahead and add this Thinking of You piece. And this is 1 inch by 2 7/8 inches. And what I did is I put some tape across the top. And I don't want to put it out here at the end where it's going to be sticking over. And then I'm going to put some dimensionals down here at the bottom of this. But I'm only going to be putting maybe 2 because this is going to hang over and you don't want anything sticky there. So you pull those off, and this is going to go along here, and you can see that I don't have anything over here where it's going to run over. Oops. Didn't have it stuck as good as I thought. And then these are going to be down here on the card. Now I also have these mini library clips. And they are new this year in the catalog. And you have them in the white and in the silver. I'm not exactly sure. 36 come in there, so I would think it would be 18 of each. And we did just make this card in class, so a lot of the silver ones are gone. That's the way it should be. I'm going to add this to the side of my card here. And then this is the braided trim. I'm going to use some of that. I think I've really cut off more than I need. So let me get a pair of scissors and just trim some of that off. Not my ribbon scissors. And then I'm also going to take my pick tool and just kind of shred these ends out a little bit. Just to add a little interest to the card. Okay, and then hopefully I'm going to be able to just stick that up in there. I should not have taken those off yet. So, yeah, that's not so bad. Now, I will say that a few of my people taking class have some problems with strength in their hands. And they had a little bit of trouble getting this part in there. But it can be done. Okay. And when I attach this to the front of the card, remember that part of this is going to be over. I'm going to kind of decide, I want this kind of in the middle. So I want it about like that. So I'm going to put my tape, whoops, about, yeah, thought I had it on the wrong side there for a minute. Okay. So I'm going to add it like this. To the card. And that's it. It's done. So there it is. And then open. It looks like this. Now I will tell you on the first one that I made this a piece of paper and this one and just had the two meet. But I found that as I opened it, this did what it's doing now, and I just decided that it would look nicer if it was all one piece across there. It doesn't take that much more paper, and it looks nicer. So there you go. Again, my name is Joanne Hewins. If you need any supplies to make any of these cards, I would love to help you. Go to lovetocreate.typepad.com, and I share cards there every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I would love for you to see what I share. I just enjoy it so much. And if I can help you, please let me know. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.